What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and colonel and dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and resident superstar, Adrian Holmes.
What's going on, Garrett and JJ? How you guys doing this afternoon? I guess evening now, huh?
It is in fact evening now. Yes.
This is one of the few Mondays that I don't have to be like, finally made it through Monday. You know why? Because we didn't have to work today. Thank goodness.
Excuse me, good sir. I worked today. I had to work at 6 a.m. this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of what I was dreaming about at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that hurts.
Oh man. Also joining us here in the podcasting studio is the heavyweight podcasting champion of the world, JJ Purdom.
What's up? It's your boy. It's Double J or Juicy J, or
that's already somebody.
It's somebody waking up and having to work on Memorial Day. Garrett, I do want you to know, in full disclosure, I need to be completely honest with you. And Adrian, you're here, so you can listen to it as well. Your mom was totally in my DMs this week, dude. After everything that happened last week, no, I'm serious. I just wanted you to know, we had a little chat session.
We had a powwow.
I said, thanks so much for coming on and giving Garrett a hard time with us. We just appreciate you so much, Jen. And she just said, that's what I live for. It's my one joy. She said, grandkids, and mostly teasing Garrett. And I said, dude, samesies. No, she was a lot of fun.
Well, before we get any further into the podcast, I actually am legally obligated to say that this episode is actually brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Pepsi Cola.
Oh my God! I knew you were gonna pull some stunt. You had been too quiet about this. Get this. You know what?
Go down to your local convenience store.
Here's the
and
deal.
Get your ice cold, refreshing Pepsi
Here's
Cola.
The deal. I wasn't gonna say anything until you brought this up right now. If you are a patron of ours and you think Pepsi is better than Coca-Cola, your Patreon fee just went up. So whatever you had, add an extra 25 cents onto it. There you go. Let's see if you really think Pepsi is better than Coke. Pay for it.
Delicious. That's their slogan, right? Delicious.
I don't know if that's their slogan.
That's as creative as their flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So congratulations, because now Patreon is $1.25 for you. How about that?
I found an extra Pepsi from my parents when they were here, because we don't drink soda, but we had an extra bottle in there. I'm like, oh, gotta pull it out for the bit. I'm
sorry. What did you don't drink? What did you call it?
Soda?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember the good days when I used to refer to soda as soda.
Soft drinks?
Yeah, everybody calls it pop here. So
no, that's because they're wrong, though.
Yeah, it's okay. So settle this for us, listeners. Everybody here in the Midwest calls it pop, and it's weird. I'm not used to it. They talk about going to the pop machine, and even the soda machines say pop on them. It's just odd.
Well, I thought the whole thing was soda pop, right?
It's soda pop, but everybody just calls it soda. And from where we're from, that's why we always.
Yeah.
Everybody here calls it pop. They just say, hey, hey, we're drinking a pop. I'm like, no, it's not the 40s.
You can drink a soda. You can drink a soda pop. I don't know about drinking a pop.
Hey,
a pop is a sound. A pop, it's like onomatopoeia. That's a sound,
right?
Right. You don't drink the sound,
Right.
So, yeah. So I just rally against it. And if my children ever say the word pop in reference to a soda, I will slap them.
Ground them.
See, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about Super Nintendo. About NES and Super Nintendo.
Calling it SNES.
Oh my God. It's like nails on a chalkboard, dude. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
It doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right at all.
SNES, NES, get it. SNES, that's the worst one. Good grief.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually heard anyone say that in the wilds.
Eddie says that, and he says it with his whole chest. Yes.
Oh, and he's a Patreon producer.
Oh my God. He already knows. No, he knows. He knows I can't stand it. He knows I can't stand it, but he does it anyway. I already said there's multiple ways that you can say it. You can say the whole thing. You can say Super Nintendo Entertainment System. You can say Super Nintendo. You could say Super NES. You could say SNES. SNES is not one of them. We've gone. I've caused whole arguments back when he was streaming regularly with his whole chat about this. There's no debate.
No,
I'm done.
Again, like,
have you ever heard them call it that in an ad?
No.
Nope.
No, not once. Thank you.
That's horrible.
Thank you for your time.
It's horrible. Eddie, we might need to talk.
Sorry, JJ. That just fired me up while I was thinking about that.
Eddie, your Patreon fee just went up to $15.25 now.
50 cents.
50 cents. Oh, okay. Oh man.
Ugh. Sorry.
But,
that's why I love it so much when JJ always goes. That's when, back in the day when me and my kids were playing.
System.
Yes. It's like
and
honey
you know
in
what?
the eardrums.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, Adrian, because I always feel like when I say that stuff that it's denoting my age, because
No way, dude. That's what it's called.
Yeah. That is what it's called, and that's what I grew up referencing it as, or as my dad would say, the Nintendo. Y'all playing that game Nintendo?
Fair.
Yes, Dad, we're playing.
Now,
it's called Nintendo.
I'll give people a break on Super Nintendo because that is quite the mouthful. I'm sitting here playing games on my Super Nintendo Entertainment System. That's a lot. So I'm fine with people shortening that.
Didn't I feel like I saw this somewhere? Didn't Nintendo have an entire like ad campaign because people would say, "Hey, I'm gonna go out and what was it like?" They just called the Super Nintendo a Nintendo. Like, do you have a Nintendo? And like, I feel like
it was a
flyer.
Like a big ad. It was like a flyer or something like that. There was like, it's not a Nintendo.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a Nintendo or the Nintendo. It's
right.
Super
We
Nintendo.
are Nintendo, and we make the NES.
It's like imagine being that like bothered by it, that they're like, you know what, we're gonna spend resources.
Well, it's
and
also
time
for
and
legal
money.
purposes too, because they trademarked Nintendo Entertainment System. So if you're not using that, then they could lose it. So
it's crazy.
But at the same time, Nintendo, the name brand, was so synonymous with video gaming that even if you played on the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo or still were playing on Atari, people would still reference, his kid's always playing his Nintendo, even if he doesn't own one, because that's what it was. It was like synonymous with gaming.
That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing for Nintendo in one way because you got market share and you're making money, and it's a bad thing for Nintendo, like I was saying, trademark wise.
Yeah.
Because if everything's a Nintendo, then nothing can be.
So I love the fact that we all talked about that Super Nintendo on the Gaming Historian, that documentary that we just watched not that long ago, because I lived that, guys. And so you guys kind of grew up with the Super Nintendo already being a thing. But I remember when the Nintendo became a thing, and then later when the Super Nintendo became a thing, and there's all these more colors, more sounds to be able to play in these games. It was a big, big deal. And we ended up going, at the time, it probably sounds goofy to you guys, but my family was a total Nintendo family. But we ended up, as I was being a teenager at the time, I went into getting a Sega Genesis because it was $50 cheaper. And my best friend had a Super Nintendo. So we played all these like crazy, bloody beat 'em up games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter at my house. And then, or Pit Boss was, or I think Pit Fighter was one. It was like a cheap knockoff of like Street Fighter. I don't know if you guys ever played that or not. And then turning around and going and playing Super Mario World over at his house, so.
I was one of the very few lucky kids that my dad, I always talk about him, of course, he's my, how should I say, my touchstone, I guess, for my relationship with video games. I was lucky enough that he was way into stuff at the time. So I'm what you call a day walker. Like Blade, I'm able to walk between both worlds, and we had one of each. So I was very privileged to be able to experience the Genesis and Super Nintendo at the same time. So I'm always grateful for that opportunity, because I think we said one episode too. I said if I were ever to be buried what Egyptian pharaoh style in my tomb, my pyramid, I gotta have one of each in there. Just put them in there.
There is nothing quite like the 16-bit generation.
Man, I'm telling you.
Man, well,
sorry, we took you off track.
No, you're good. You're good. I've just been fixing some audio issues actually on this end. Thank you to Zero Faints in the chat for pointing out that there is no audio coming through but my own microphone.
What? They missed all that gold?
So OBS, I've told you guys before, for whatever reason, every once in a blue moon, it'll just completely reset all my settings for no good reason at all my audio settings, and did it to me today. So it's all going to be in the recording, obviously, because you guys record your audio separately, I hope.
Yep. But Garrett, should we go ahead and go over the fact that your mom was in my DMs again? I think what we need to hit on one more time actually is that this episode is brought to you by Pepsi Cola.
You know what? Yeah, we can go over that. I just wanted to reiterate, there's a new rule in effect. If you are a Patreon sponsor of us and you believe that Pepsi is better than Coke, your $1 Patreon is now $1.25.
All right,
sorry,
all right.
That's the Pepsi tax. We're doing that. Also, Eddie. Eddie now has a NES and SNES tax. If you keep calling him that, your Patreon producer fee is now $15.50. So we're just making sure that those go into effect. Yep. Just wanted to clarify.
Thank you for recapping that. You know, yep. after it's like we have our meeting, and then that's the last little like summary. Okay, yep, meeting adjourned. Let's get on with the show.
Alrighty.
So thank you for that little recap. Today we're going to be talking about PlayStation showing more interest in TV, Xbox expanding cloud gaming to new devices, and how people just like old games. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Ka Jr., Bleep Bloop, and Eddie Martin. Maybe we'll see. It depends on if he, you know.
After this one, it's like, all right, well, it's been a good run, boys.
And our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 gets you episodes early and ad-free, such as this show. Right after we finish recording, we go up and I'll upload that as soon as possible after editing. Or get this, you get Super Gamer Book Club early and ad-free. About 2-3 months early. It just depends on... We had a rough start to 2022 getting episodes out. We're back on track now. I think it's about a 2-month lead up, though, that you can get the episodes before everyone else. So this last Friday they come out the last Friday of the month. We released Super Mario World episode hosted by Adrian, with me as, you know, whatever. I'm always there.
As the Garrett.
I'm the annoying fly in the corner all the time. But here we go. This is the best part about it. Featuring very special guest, Patrick and Mark from the Nintendo Cartridge Society.
Woo!
So that was so much fun. Such a blast to have them. So you really need to all go support us on Patreon and check that out. It's
excellent.
You get it for a buck.
Excellent.
Get it for a buck. It was very good. Excellent time. Patrick is freaking incredible. Like
they both are. Him and Mark.
No, they both. What I was about to say. Sorry, I didn't finish my thought. He beat all 96 levels. He 100%ed the game, and he was telling us that that's not the first time he's done that. Like, he's done that multiple times. Yeah. It's crazy. It's like he's a madman. So
he knows where all of them are now at this point because he's done it so many times.
It's that's like muscle memory for him. So and then Mark was obviously that's actually the first time I ever spoke with Mark. He was incredible, such a blast, and both of them such a wealth of knowledge on like the behind the scenes of the game. Them, they kind of what they were like, kind of give you guys a little behind the scenes, or not behind the scenes, but a little taste of what was on the episode. They were like 8 or 9 when those games came out, and so we were talking, and like you were around when it came out, but very very little. I wasn't born until '93, so I grew up with it, but wasn't around when I was born.
JJ was a cool 35.
I think I just had a kid. Something like that.
But so to hear their perspective as like kind of like the perfect age for the Nintendo, like 9-10 years old, getting in there and like wanting it for Christmas and everything, man, super cool. So go check that episode out. Very special. We also put out episodes for free. So if you're on the fence about supporting us on Patreon, you're like, I like their stuff, I don't really know about the Super Gamer Book Club, go check out our free feed. We do post them later with ads and up on the podcast services. Any podcast services, just search for Super Gamer Book Club. The free episode this month was Streets of Rage 4, featuring Eddie Martin.
With live gameplay.
Yeah, so you can listen to it on podcast services or go over to youtube.com/supergamerboys and actually watch us play while we're talking. That's probably the much more enjoyable experience, and boy, that was a blast. Me and Eddie doing co-op, Adrian kind of directing the conversation because me and Eddie were focusing on playing a game.
Guys, we're recording here.
Like, right.
Yeah, keep in mind this is before Eddie got his rate raised.
Yes, of course.
Calling it SNES.
Yes.
And then
Pre-hike.
Adrian, do you want to go ahead and announce this month's game, the upcoming game?
I'm trying to decide if I do. You know what? Yeah, I do because this will come out on the 1st for Patreon supporters. So we can definitely do that. Our next game for the June Super Gamer Book Club is none other than the prequel to one of the world's most renowned JRPGs, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, released for the PSP.
Mm-hmm. I've been playing it right here. Got my headphones. I had to break out my wired headphones because
as have I, brother. As have I.
All I have is my AirPods normally, and I'm like, the PSP doesn't have Bluetooth. What the heck? So I had go find wired headphones to plug in there. But
you could probably find
we are so privileged.
I know.
No, you listen. I got a $20 pair of headphones that I keep just for this stuff. So.
Man, getting fancy over there.
$20 whole dollars.
$20 whole dollars. We'll talk more about our Patreon later, but first, quick shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. We appreciate you so much. Please go support them by listening to their music. You can find it on Apple Music as well as Spotify. I've actually never looked. Can you purchase the albums on iTunes as well, like you would any other music, or is it only on streaming services?
I believe that you can purchase it. I think they have a Bandcamp, but I'm not 100%. Okay. Yeah. I can double check though.
But yeah, either way, look up their stuff. Links to Spotify are down in the show description below. Find them on Apple Music. Find them wherever. Buy their stuff. They make incredible music. Besides the stuff that you hear here on the show, they actually have a larger library that is very, very good. Alrighty. It is now time to check the mail.
Here we go, baby.
So, do we have a bit this week, or you guys have anything?
I just kind of figured we would just hang out.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll just take it easy this week because we've been knocking them out of.
What's that? What's this sound?
What?
You guys hear that?
What do you?
What's?
Huh?
That's
Are you playing with this? I thought you said you fixed the audio.
Super Gamer Boys, this is the aliens that the game Space Invaders was based off of. So at some point, Garrett Morlang, you have unfortunately sent us your email.
What in the world?
We intercepted it as we were looking for intelligent life in your universe. Unfortunately, we found none. We find your podcast to be quite entertaining, though, with a special like for the young fat one. So,
which young fat one?
We give you your mail back, and I also want you to know we won't destroy your planet because of your great podcast, but we're thinking about it. Garrett, also, you probably want to clear out some of those files. Kind of disgusting.
They know about your Kojima folder?
I have no idea what they're talking about. I have no idea what they're talking about. I think that was a mistake. They must have been talking about to another Garrett,
Oh yes, of course.
See, not only have we been listened to in so many countries, but now we're getting listened to around the universe.
Intergalactic, apparently.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right. So apparently these aliens were holding our questions ransom and decided to beam them to me. I have no control of my computer at the moment, but the questions are in fact here.
Be thankful it wasn't introduced through an anal probe, Garrett.
Yeah. That could have been real bad for you.
Or really good for you. I mean, it kind of, depending upon your perspective, you don't want to, no judgment.
All right, let's get on with the mailbag here. Thank you, intergalactic aliens, space invaders, for sharing the questions with us this week. I don't know how they got them in the first place, but
the internet is a mysterious thing. Satellites,
mysterious place. All right, this first question comes from CJM. And they ask, what is one period from history that has not been covered in gaming that you believe would make a good game? This one's kind of tricky because I feel like just about
most, if not all,
has been covered. But I will kind of give them the benefit of the doubt that there definitely are some periods of history that have been covered less that could use some more love. So maybe that's almost how we could tweak the question, unless you guys can think of something that's not ever been covered. But I feel like pretty much everything's been covered for the most part.
Any games you guys can think of that have been covered like in the 70s?
I mean, there's
the 70s like a rocket era, man.
There's games that have had like levels based, in the 70s, like it was going through time, but can't think of any that's specifically been based in the 70s.
Wasn't like there's one of the driver games on PlayStation. Wasn't that? In the 70s
76.
Like wasn't there also none of the Grand Theft Autos have been in the 70s?
Nuh-uh.
Has any of the
only the 80s,
games,
80s and 90s?
Any of the Mafia games been in the 70s?
I think those are the 40s and 50s, aren't they?
50s. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I've only played 3 because it was on.
We've got tons of Western games. Yeah, we got tons of Old West games. We've got tons of war games from World War II, World War I. We've got a ton of
post-apocalyptic, futuristic.
Yeah, we just got Cyberpunk, so that covers the future.
So a time period, I guess, yeah, to kind of come at it from a different direction where it's like one that's been not covered as much. I feel like the aesthetic is used a lot, but the actual time period itself is not. And that is like ancient Egypt. Like the only big game I can think of recently is Assassin's Creed Origins, which was a huge game. Mm-hmm. But if you really think about it, at least not for a long time, like I feel like you rarely see games during that time period. Again, like you'll see like Tomb Raider, or like you'll see adventure games maybe have levels based on it, or have different areas that are like alluding to, or taking place.
But nothing from that.
But actually taking place during like ancient Egyptian times, like similar to like Assassin's Creed Origins. I think it'd be really cool to have more stuff like that. I just always love that time period. I love that history. Like watching through Moon Knight right now, I'm still not finished with it. We got into it late, and I'm like, man, like all the mythology and stuff there is so cool.
So to piggyback off of what you're saying, I don't know if I've ever brought this up on the show, but I'm a big fan of the movie Stargate. And I know they had a TV show, but I really love the idea of like a video game based on Stargate, on that movie, and being able to go through a wormhole to like another dimension that's like ancient Egypt, in that time frame, and like how the pyramids were created and all that kind of stuff by aliens. Like I would love that kind of thing.
So like a mixture of the two, like the far future and the past.
Exactly.
Interesting. What about you, Adrian? Do you have any time periods that you feel like are kind of undervalued in the gaming space? Underutilized?
I mean, the ones that we discussed, I feel like are the best options, because I can think of examples of games that have been in those other time periods. And I don't know, there's never been like really any quiet era, I don't think, that hasn't been, that has been overlooked, at least. And I'm also thinking about that in, history here. But, somebody could say, oh, the 1870s over in Vietnam was actually, really popping off for something else. So who knows? Maybe there's other things around the world that we are not necessarily aware of, but it was a big deal at the time. So that'd be something. How about that same time period in another part of the world?
Right. That is true. Like generally games focus on well, very much like
where they're made.
Like, yeah, where they're made, exactly. And so, or even like, I feel like a lot of war games very much focus on like things like you'll see. I mean, obviously World War I and II, like the entire world was part of it, but then you'll see like Revolutionary War games, which obviously is like an American thing. Like it's a lot more American centric for like action shooters and stuff like that. Even like futuristic shooters generally take place in America. It's like, yeah, I think you're onto something where seeing things from other locations during time periods we've already gotten would be really interesting. Be like, okay, like we get it. Like say they make an FPS game, we get it. What, you know, okay, World War I was like this for the Americans, or Revolutionary War was like this, whatever. But okay, what about getting FPS about a war somewhere else, or getting some sort of like tactical espionage spy game from somewhere else or something like that? Yeah, that'd be interesting. Cool. Yeah, that's actually really, really. I don't know. That's just like kind of hitting me for the first time. Like, oh man, like video games are very just American centric, like definitely. With their topics. Like, oh man, like there's so much that happens in the world that just like, whatever, kind of gets forgotten, at least in the gaming space. CGM also asked one more question here. If you could take... All
right, Kajoma's mom, that's a lot of questions now. Come on.
If you could take... No, I'll take any questions that I can get because everyone else is slacking. So, you know, CJM usually drops their questions. When was it? I almost want to say it was like Monday night last week or like Tuesday morning. Like I woke up like before because they must listen to Patreon because they get it early. So it's like... or something. I don't know. I'm actually not sure. I forget if they're a Patreon supporter or not, but they must be because they always send their questions in early. It's fantastic. Hey. So thank you, CGM. Thank you for sending in questions. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Kajoma's mom.
If you could take one current gen game back 10 to 15 years and show developers back then what would become possible, which would you choose and why? So you're taking like a PS5 game or Xbox Series X game or whatever back,
or a PC game
back, 10, 15 years ago, which we're looking at PS3 era and Xbox 360 era towards the beginning, right? That'd be towards the beginning of the PS3, Xbox 360.
I mean, it'd have to be Horizon, right? Horizon or Last of Us. Just on a technical standpoint.
Yeah, like Horizon Forbidden West, so this is a game that's not technically out yet, but there's been gameplay trailers and stuff. To show them Senua's Saga 2, Hellblade 2.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That would blow their mind, because it just looks like a movie. That does not look
or that
like,
Matrix demo.
Or the the Unreal 5 demo. But yeah, I think to show them, something like, because both of those, the Matrix was Unreal 5. I think Senua, isn't that being made in Unreal 5? So like to show them anything from Unreal 5, I think would just blow people's minds. Because and imagine if someone had like 10 to 15 years to basically prepare, like they knew what was coming, so they're like, okay, I'm gonna plan out a game so when it's possible. Oh man, that'd be insane.
Wild.
But I think my pace,
I would have said Last of Us.
Last
of Us 2.
Just for character models alone, I feel like even still that's blowing a lot of PS5 games out of the water, which is wild to me. But what can you do? It's Naughty Dog. Some of the best.
Yeah, one of the best, if not the best. Next question comes from Sir Printsalot. He asks, I went to the Indy 500 today. Who wins the Mario Kart 500 betwixt the three of you? So between the three of us, who's winning the Mario Kart 500? 500
laps? I lose. I don't have the endurance for it. I can tell you that right now. No.
Okay.
Well, it's my time to shine because that's what I do in Gran Turismo, basically.
Let's remember.
Oh, that's
Garrett,
right. You do those 24-hour races, you maniac.
Let's also remember that Garrett's really not great about finishing games. So I'm not sure if you're really the right answer. I think ultimately it's going to come down to me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to give up
JJ,
after 45 minutes because I'm going to have to give the game system over to one of the kids.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, in about 20 minutes, your kids wanting to play Fortnite or packing up or whatever, or unpacking, whatever that game is.
The reality of that hurts so bad to hear you say that, to be honest.
I will not take any more unpacking slander. Let's move forward. Unpacking is a good game. I will hear nothing else about it.
That wasn't intentional slander. I legitimately just couldn't remember the name of the game at first. I'm sorry. I apologize. It was not unintentional slander. But yeah, that's what I feel like it'd be, JJ. Is the first 20 minutes you just like you actually being able to play. The last 20 minutes them nagging you, and then like finally you just like chucking a controller and running out, like walking out of the room. It's like, fine, play your dang game.
It's accurate. That's exactly how my gaming life goes. It's exactly like that.
And then you just go watch TikTok in your van. You just go out in your driveway and just go to your car so you can be alone and watch TikTok videos.
You just go in there, you look in your little your glove compartment, you take out a little thing of Tic Tacs and just look at them.
I just watch TikTok.
What a fine candy.
Okay, I could see myself saying that because of the age thing, Garrett, but come on. You are obviously not hip, buddy.
You know what I meant.
Speaking of Tic Tacs, do they make the orange ones anymore? They don't, right? The citrus ones, you know what I'm talking about.
They better. I don't know. I haven't been to do it. I don't go to stores. I don't know.
Hold on. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Hang on. No, we're going to Amazon.com right now to find out if I can purchase orange Tic Tacs in bulk.
I don't know what the flavor is. I just know they're orange. All right.
No, I think it is orange, isn't it? Orange Tic Tac. I can buy a box of 12 for $15 on Amazon.
Okay, good. So they do still make them.
Yeah.
Why did they even make that flavor? Because it's not a breath mint. Weren't Tic Tacs supposed to be mints?
Yeah, I never understood. I loved orange. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't make any sense because the point of it is to help your breath. And I'm like, I feel like it's
just like those Altoids they made, the ones that were, you know what I'm talking about, the crystal-like candy ones.
Oh,
don't leave me hanging on this one.
Aren't they like lemon and lime and stuff like they're just
and like grapefruit,
flavored, right?
yeah, citrus flavors, yeah. Okay, whew.
Yeah,
I was gonna say no. I'm not doing a Streisand effect right now. I know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about? I've never heard of one of those. Yes,
not
they do
Streisand
still have
effect.
orange.
What is it called?
The Mandela effect.
Mandela effect.
They have Coca-Cola flavored Tic Tacs. What the heck?
Where's the Pepsi ones? Where's the Pepsi ones?
I know Pepsi.
What I was gonna say is, how does that freshen your breath at all? Like it's just straight sugar.
It doesn't. It just makes the ladies go, "Ooh, you've been drinking good soda, huh?" Mm-hmm.
Or good pop.
You have good taste in pop.
Good pop. Bizarre. Okay, I need to get off Amazon before I buy a box of orange Tic.
I won't say nothing if you don't say nothing. Just go ahead and click that buy button.
Skyline in the chat says, "My gosh, sweetie, you taste so cokey." Also, those Altoids were called sour Altoids. He says.
Thank you, Altoid sours. Yes.
Yep.
Ooh, honey, is that the real Coca-Cola? Is that cocaine cola?
Coca-Cola. Wow. Oh man. All right. This next question comes from Eddie Martin, and he writes, Sir Printsalot went to the Indy 500 today. What tracks are on your Mount Rushmore Mario Kart tracks? All 8 games are in play.
All 8?
So out of all 8 games, what are your top 4 Mario Kart tracks?
I mean, it for sure had to be Waluigi Pinball. Sorry, what?
I don't play the game. I haven't played the game enough to know any of the tracks.
You've never played any of them though? Like it was on Super Nintendo. You were like 30 at that point. You've had to play it at least once.
Yeah. No, I wasn't good at it. And even then my kids wouldn't let me play. Remember, I am old. Okay. No, I just never really played Mario Kart.
I love how both me and Adrian is kind of like, kind of shrugged.
Yeah, I can't fight you on that one.
He probably started having kids about then.
That checks out.
Yeah, I'd say for me, for sure, Waluigi Pinball. I think that's a classic. N64 Rainbow Road goes without saying. DK Jungle from Double Dash, and I can't really think of any standouts on Wii. Can you?
See, I'm trying to remember.
I guess Bowser's Castle from the original, from Super Mario
head,
Kart.
The problem is, in my head, they tend to blend together. And especially with the advent of Mario Kart 8, that has a lot of those old ones.
That has all of them pretty much, basically.
Yeah, like and
that will have all of them.
Are remastered and stuff. Yeah, kind of like it's hard to like differentiate. Like, wait, what was that one on? My list was I love, and again, most of my experience actually was probably Mario Kart 8. Even though I had Double Dash on GameCube, and it was like one of my favorites. It's like this weird thing where like I can barely remember half the tracks that were on it. One of my favorites though from that one was Baby Park, which I'm so happy it's on Mario Kart 8. I love Baby Park. The chaos. I get so
angry at Baby Park. I don't know. It's
me too. So I usually I can get away pretty good. Like I don't know. I've always gotten lucky on it where I can just I'm like 3 laps ahead of everyone else. It's fantastic. I was playing the other day when my parents were in town. And it was me, my dad, my mom, and Shep, my son. And I literally got hit by everything. It was like red shell, green shell.
Yep.
Like, boom, bomb. All of a sudden, I got to first place. Blue shell. Like, you got to be kidding me. Red shell. And it was just like, there was one point where
that's what happens when the thing is that short, when the map is that short.
Yeah.
The shells have no distance to travel. They just get you immediately.
I was perma-stunned for like a full 20 seconds. I'm like, what is this? This is the worst.
God.
But I love it because it's just so chaotic because there's literally explosions all over the track. Like my dad was on the other side of the track and he was saying the same thing. He's like, I can't move. I just keep getting blown up. Oh, I love the chaos. So Baby Park is up there. Cheap Beach.
Okay.
I really like Cheap Beach. Twisted Mansion. I think that I don't know if that was on an earlier one, but definitely on because hang on, Cheap Beach. That's from DS, right? That was on DS.
Yes.
Originally. Twisted Mansion. I think that's an 8 original, if I remember.
Yeah.
And then
I was gonna say, wait, I thought I could have swore you had DS. Mario Kart DS.
I didn't own a DS, but I played it on a friend's DS before. And then when it came to Mario Kart 8, I was like, oh, this is gorgeous. I love it. And then the Super Nintendo Rainbow Road.
If you want to talk about a sensory overload, there you go.
So both the original one and again, like I mean, I adore the original one. I think that's the one that would be on my Mount Rushmore. But let me tell you, it is fun to go back and play it on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. In full 3D glory, because on Super Nintendo, it's infuriating, absolutely infuriating, because it's like there's no depth perception, so it's like, wait, I missed that road, and now I just went over the edge. I'm like into space, like that's it.
So, at what point did you get pissed off and send Shep to bed and tell your mom and dad to get the heck out of your house?
Oh, it happened last Thursday. That's when they left. Yeah, I was like, you guys got to leave now.
I've had enough. Goodbye.
Yeah, so I think that's my top 4. Twisted Mansion, Cheap Beach, Baby Park, and SNES Rainbow Road. Man, such a good game.
Solid list.
Mario Kart's fantastic.
They were onto something.
Never mind, I'm an idiot. I was just going to say, when are we going to get a new Mario Kart? But they're doing that dumb...
Never.
Yeah, they're doing that dumb level pack again now, where... like they're releasing them over the next 2 years.
It's not just that. They're also selling 8 million copies a second of it still. So why would they put out 9?
That's true. This last question comes to us from Junior, and he asks, y'all get put in charge of a Star Wars project, game, TV show, movie, whatever. What is it, and what's your pitch for it?
Go for it.
For me, I want Star Wars What If.
Keep talking.
You did that.
No, we didn't do that.
They did Marvel What If.
We got Marvel What
right.
If. But I would love to see Star Wars What If, where it's like, what if Anakin was, maybe what if he didn't turn? What if
he wasn't a whiny baby?
Yeah, what if it wasn't a whiny baby? What if Mace Windu did defeat Sidious and Darth Vader was left like on his, Anakin was left on his own, or later on in the series.
What if Luke and Leia accidentally did it before they realized that they were siblings?
They got close enough.
What if maybe Obi-Wan was able to defeat Darth Vader? How would a fight against the Emperor gone later? What if they weren't?
Maybe we'll find that out.
What if they weren't able to destroy the Death Star the first time? I don't know. There's a million different options you could pick. Or I think they could do some really cool stuff that was canon but isn't canon anymore because of Disney, to bring some of that stuff in. What popped in my head was Force Unleashed, Star Killer stuff. You could easily, because that game had multiple endings too. You could choose a good ending or the bad ending. So it's
maybe they can actually make a sequel this time.
To bring in Star Killer and what if he existed in the first place now in the Disney canon, and then go on okay, he becomes bad or he becomes good. I think that'd be sick. It was fun in Marvel. I think it would be a lot of fun in Star Wars as well. That's all.
Yeah, I would like an origin story of Yoda. I don't know if that's something that's in a book form already or
it'd be a game. What kind of game would you make it?
So I would have it be all about his beginnings and how he's learning, and him learning and gaining all that wisdom. Where would he have to go? To which planets and worlds would he have to travel to? And what characters would he come into contact with in learning all of the things that he learns? He's the most intelligent person in the entire history of all of the canon.
Now, with Yoda, he's 800-900 years old or whatever. Does that put him alive at the time of the High Republic type stuff?
No. High Republic was thousands of years ago.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, that's definitely would be a time period that not touched on in Star Wars lore, so that would be really interesting to see. Kind of not quite High Republic, but yeah, a little but before what we've currently seen.
Right. No, but I think that could work. I don't see why not. What type of game would it be though, JJ? Would it be a real-time strategy? Would it be a RPG? Would it be
I'd see it being an RPG game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you build up your skills over time and you spend your skill points.
That's it.
Okay, right on. I think I would probably pick up the Republic Commando. I think it's a shame we only got one of those. I think that Scorch and Sev and Fixer and Boss are an excellent squad, and I feel like that they didn't get enough use. Granted, I know of course things happen in the story, but I think that you can do a really good sequel with that universe. Well, I guess not that universe, it's the Star Wars universe, but with those characters and with that story, I think there's still a lot to be uncovered there. And I would probably have since they're not around, the original LucasArts isn't around, I think I'd have Bungie do it.
Oh, that would be great. I think that'd be fantastic. They'd kill it.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be such a that game was so fun. It
was so good, and it was just a one-off.
Yeah, I never owned it, but I had a friend who had an Xbox who lived next door, and he had it on there, and I'd go over and hang out with him just to play it, and so I never got to play all the way through.
You're that friend, Garrett, that just goes over just to play. I'm just there to play your game.
All right, take it easy there, Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh dang, that hurts.
So it was one of those games where I just played pieces and parts of it. I never got to play all the way through, but everything I ever played, and I played a lot of it. I went over there a lot, and I was just this game is so awesome.
Now it came out on Switch.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
When they were doing that slew of old Star Wars games coming out, because I think that's on there. KOTOR is on there. They're getting ready to bring KOTOR 2. The Jedi Power Battles or Jedi Outcast, I think, and Jedi Power Battle is on there. All those old games they re-released on the store. So you can finally do it. And I think it's only like $15.
Might need to get some Republic Commando. Cool. Well, that's it for questions this week. Now it is time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy news.
Alrighty, this first news story comes to us from excuse me, man, I got something stuck in my throat. Tom Ivan over at VGC. He writes, Sony confirms God of War, Horizon, and Gran Turismo TV shows are in the works. Sony has reportedly announced that TV series are in development for 3 more of PlayStation's biggest franchises. During a business briefing on Thursday, Sony Pictures Entertainment confirmed that the company is currently working on TV adaptations of God of War, Horizon, and Gran Turismo, according to Japan-based analyst and investment advisor David Gibson. Amazon has secured their streaming rights to the God of War series, while Netflix has picked up Horizon. And then there was actually an update later on in the week saying that it's been claimed that Gran Turismo project is actually a movie adaptation rather than a TV one, and that Sony is eyeing District 9 director Neil Blomkamp to helm the film. Deadline first reported in March that Sony Pictures Television and PlayStation Productions were developing live-action God of War TV series. So there's like some rumors that I think we even talked about on the show previously, but it's now been confirmed. And so these are some new ones that we heard about. Previously, we knew about the Last of Us HBO series being co-written by Chernobyl creator Mason, a live-action Ghost of Tsushima movie being helmed by John Wick director Chad Stahelski, a Twisted Metal TV series from Deadpool's writers, and a Jack and Daxter adaptation from Uncharted movie director Ruben Fleischer, among other projects.
This sounds like too many irons in the fire, but that's just me.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, it is all going all out to different studios, so it's not like one kind of thing, but it's a lot to oversee. Like, if Sony wants to manage, like at least micromanage every little thing, boy, they got a lot on their plate.
So they ain't the only ones having some problem with managing multiple studios. I'm just saying, a couple of things got delayed to next year because of that. Phil.
Right.
Spencer.
So we've all know that Netflix has had like an incredible track record with some of the things like Witcher, turning Witcher into a TV show. Like that's been highly popular. I think that Amazon is definitely the right choice for God of War. And let me tell you why. Because if you've seen any of the teaser trailers that are out right now for the Lord of the Rings, the new Lord of the Rings show that they've got going, it looks really good. Like really good. The only thing is that if you watch it with a critical eye, it's very CGI, and it's very obvious that it's CGI. It's like jarring. So
props are more expensive, so I get it.
Yeah, that's going to be something to look for in this God of War. But I could see them doing it because it's going to be God of War. If it's anything like the 2018 game, it's an epic. It's huge in scope and size. So. I think Amazon's going to be the perfect fit for it. As far as Horizon Zero Dawn, Netflix, they should do a really good job. And Gran Turismo, I couldn't see it being a movie, dude. I just don't.
Yeah, I was trying to wrap my brain around that one. Like, I was like, well, are they going to try to do like a Fast and Furious thing? But I'm like, but that's not Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is literally about. It's a racing simulator, and it's more even specifically. It's not even like, don't think NASCAR, don't think dirt rally. Like, think like,
hey, check out this new mini game where you have to pour transmission fluid into the car.
No,
but it's like, don't tilt it too hard now.
But it's like the type of racing it is. It's not like redneck racing. This is like high, like. This is very fancy, like pinky up European, like
Le Mans, like Le Mans.
Yeah, it's like this is like racing with a capital R and a little like fancy twirl
Press
at the
X
end.
repeatedly to polish the leather in your passenger seat.
Yeah, and so it blows my. It's like, so it's definitely not going to be like a Fast and Furious type thing. Like, what are they doing with this? Like, the only other idea that actually just popped in my head. Did you guys watch Ford versus Ferrari?
Oh yeah, I guess it could be like that, or like
That
a driven.
movie was incredible, like so incredible. I like brought me to tears at moments watching it in theaters, and then I even purchased it afterwards. I've watched it like 6 times since then. Like, I love Ford versus Ferrari, fantastic movie. With
there's a
Christian
documentary
Bale.
that came out with this for the same story that came out that was done by Adam Carolla. That's absolutely incredible. And so if you like that movie, watching the documentary is pretty mind blowing.
Okay,
The real stuff is fantastic.
I'll have to check that out for sure. But yeah, I love the movie. So it's like, okay, if they did something with that with Gran Turismo, where obviously it'd be a fictional story, I imagine, but to do something like, they'd
they have to give it some form of a plot.
Yeah, like, because that's the thing, Gran Turismo doesn't have a plot, so I'm like, how do you turn it into a movie? But that's how they would do it. They just have to make it up, and it would be all dramatized and stuff like that, which I'd be down. Like, that's great. I love racing and I love drama, so give it to me.
I'd give anything to hear Zetch's opinion right now. Him like screaming about there being a Forza game. You know, like
why isn't there a Forza movie coming out?
Movie? Come on!
Oh, Zetch, we love you. So yeah, that's the update there. The only thing, something that popped in my head with the God of War show, they have to bring back what's his name, Judge, the guy.
Yeah, he already fits the physique. Why not?
He
you know what?
like
he might not want to shave his hair though. He's got a lot of hair.
He has like the size and physique. He's already his voice. Like,
unless
so
they can CG.
They can CGI and green screen it. His hair.
Yeah, unless they can CG him bald, I don't see him wanting to get rid of all that hair. The amount of hair that he has, it takes like years to grow. So that will probably be the big like stipulation.
He's just like he really is like the.
Oh, I agree 100%. I know
like. Because he's already the voice, and it's the perfect voice, and then like he looks just like Kratos. Like, that'd be amazing. I know how important people's hair can be to them, so I can just really see that as a big like roadblock for that happening. He may still do a dub. He might dub over it, whoever's performance it is. But other than that, I don't really see him being down with that. But I don't know the guy. Maybe he'll be like, yeah, you know what? This is probably a big deal, so I can shave it. But most likely that's probably going to be a big hurdle. So we'll see. We will see. All right, this next story comes to us from The Verge, written by Jay Peters. Microsoft confirms work on Keystone Xbox game streaming dongle. Microsoft's long in the works xCloud streaming device is going through some changes. As reported by Windows Central, the company first announced a dedicated streaming dongle in June 2021. But in a statement given to Windows Central, the company said it has pivoted from the current iteration of the device, which it says is codenamed Keystone. Here's Microsoft's full statement shared with Windows Central. Our vision for Xbox cloud gaming is unwavering. Our goal is to enable people to play the games they want on the devices they want, anywhere they want. As announced last year, we've been working on a game streaming device, codenamed Keystone, that could be connected to any TV or monitor without the need for a console. As part of any technical journey, we are constantly evaluating our efforts, reviewing our learnings, and ensuring we are bringing value to our customers. We have made the decision to pivot away from the current iteration of the Keystone device, and we will take our learnings and refocus our efforts on a new approach that will allow us to deliver Xbox cloud gaming to more players around the world in the future. So,
update on that story. Microsoft has also delayed Keystone to 2024.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm lying. They're just delaying everything else. So I figured this is going to be delayed too.
Okay.
I love how Garrett just
you got me. You
right
totally
into
got
this.
me. So yeah, they kind of confirmed the existence of Keystone. I mean, I missed that part when I read it earlier. It does sound like though it is delayed. Like they essentially say that without saying it, they're saying that like it is going to be delayed.
Everything.
They're making changes. They're pivoting their vision for it. So at this point, we have no idea when it's coming out, but it is like for them to finally acknowledge, like, yes, it's a thing. Yes, it's coming. We're working on it. Like, it's kind of nice because even though they kind of, it says here they first announced in 2021? I don't remember that. I feel like I remember like hints and rumors coming out, but I don't remember an official statement. So for me, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Like something's coming. Because this is kind of the future that at least Xbox is hoping for in gaming. Is this how viable is a device like this? Do we think there actually is a market, at least at this point, for something like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to not have to lug my Xbox everywhere I go with me. The one thing that I think that this needs to have, and I hope that they're considering this during the pivot, and I would totally be willing to pay more for it if they do this, it needs to have a crazy strong antenna. Like a wicked strong antenna, because
for the controller or for the Wi-Fi?
For the wireless antenna in the thing. Like it needs to be really, really powerful, right? Really strong. Because if I'm traveling, I'm most likely going to be in a hotel which is far away from whatever broadcasting thing is going to be, there for the facility. And so it needs to be able to punch through all the way down to wherever the signal, and get as close to where the signal is broadcasting, so that we can have the best quality for streaming. So I feel like that's one of the biggest things that you would need to make sure, like that is in there, is a really, really like stronger than the Series X antenna. Like I'm talking about, it needs to really, really be able to get down there through floors, of course not through concrete, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel like that's tricky though, unless it's a power dongle. So have you ever seen like the Chromecast Ultra? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it'd have to be something like that where it plugs in through HDMI, but then you still have to plug it into the wall. Because I think just drawing off of HDMI power, I don't think that'd be enough for an antenna like that. But I think if they made it to where like it plugs in HDMI and then you still have to plug it in the wall.
That's what I was thinking, like a little Roku size box. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That way you can house that antenna. Yeah, but it's really got to. And I mean, if it draws a little more power, it draws a little more power. But that's almost essential for something like this.
Yeah. My biggest drawback, and I kind of didn't bury the lead a little bit when I asked the question initially, but data caps are very much a thing in America, at least. How now I'll kind of ask the question again, like, is this really viable in most people's homes with like their internet data caps? Because man, if they're just doing 100% streaming, like I feel like unless internet service providers change that, that's gonna kill people.
Real talk. We love the clown on Stadia, right? We love the clown on Stadia. Stadia didn't really. Stadia, when it worked, when you have optimal conditions for it, it actually works really, really well. Mm-hmm. The problem with it is that the data usage is so incredibly high for it at optimal performance that it's not worth it. Because if you travel anywhere with that Chromecast, you're going to be on wireless. You're going to be far away from whatever the signal is. It's going to be weak. Right? Because hotels give you barely enough to browse your email and maybe get by with standard definition Netflix.
Right.
And if that's the same case for this dongle, then we don't really need this either, because it's just going to deliver a subpar experience. So
so when you're at home, it's destroying your internet data cap, and when you're on the go, it's not strong enough to actually use the whatever Wi-Fi you're near. So it really, and
nobody's going to be able to supply the amount of data that you need because of the caps. So it's up to the ISPs. I mean, they don't want to upgrade the speeds already, so they're not going to give you more of it for free anyway.
I'll make a suggestion. I think it's probably going to come out, but I think it's going to fail. And I think it's going to fail a miserable death similar to Stadia, and I hate to be bashing on Stadia all the time too, but seriously, it's not going to work. There's going to be a lot of people that are buying it thinking like, oh, this is great, it's going to work. They've been talking about it for a few years, off and on. We've come up with this rumor several times. It'll eventually come out, and I don't think that it's going to live up to the hype. People are going to be very unhappy with it. It's going to get crapped on, and then it's going to get swept under the rug.
I mean, time will tell. I wouldn't be surprised either way. If it succeeds, hey, that's cool. There's another way for me to play my xCloud and Game Pass stuff. If it fails, well, that's kind of where we're at, unfortunately, in our industrialization and internet service technology, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's
I feel
unsustainable.
like, it's. I mean, Xbox has a pretty good track record where, like, when they do release something, it may not like totally, sell out like Boku numbers, but I feel like so far they haven't necessarily had anything flop either, though. Like, if you think about it, like they're usually pretty good. Like when things come out for Xbox, like they've had pretty good results. So
Xbox One flopped miserably in Japan.
In Japan, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, Japan specifically, but
Xbox One or the original Xbox?
Xbox
One.
well, both.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The original Xbox 360 kind of got a little bit of traction, but Xbox One did miserable in Japan.
I wonder how the Series S and the Series X are faring.
They're actually doing really well. These are the highest performing Xboxes that have been in Japan so far. People are actually buying. Now, of course, not a whole lot, but much more than they've ever been buying Xboxes before. So that's good news.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, in my head, it would be a really cool option for like, for like $75 or something like that to get, this little dongle that plugs into your TV. Like, I would get one in a heartbeat. I mean, we have so many people living in our house here. We have the unlimited data plan. Like, we pay the extra for it because there's 3 families here. And so, like, we have the unlimited data and it's halfway decent internet. So, like, I think
until you start streaming, then they're like, oh, what's going on? Why are you using 100 gigabytes a day?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Then they're knocking on my door like, we're going to have to raise your prices a little bit.
Yep.
So if this ever was a thing to come out anytime soon, like, I'd be down, because as much as like I love being able to just play things on my PC, like I have Game Pass on PC, anything Xbox comes on there. It would be nice to be able to just chill on the couch once in a while too and just play and not have to like come down to my office and like get the computer up and running and download updates and make sure my drivers are working. Like to just like go up to the couch and be like, pick up the controller and just play. Like it goes. Like that'd be pretty sick. Like just like you're watching Netflix. Like I just click on the show and it just plays. Be able to click on the game and it just plays. That would be sweet. And like I could see it at a price point of like around $75 or so. Like it'd have to be under $100 to make it viable, I think.
Right. And that I think would be the one that they push the hardest, is like, this is a little everybody one. And then maybe they do like, they separate these kind of like a Series S and X, but they call it Series whatever other letters. And then you get the one that's like $125, but it has the super antenna I was talking about, or it has maybe a little bit of onboard storage, so you can load one game and take it with you.
Yeah, or just a bundle that just comes with a controller. Like maybe the base one's $75 with no controller, and it's like $125 or $150 with like the whatever controller they have or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be exciting. I feel like up till we talked about it, I think it was just 2-3 weeks ago, we talked about cloud gaming stuff. Where I haven't used a ton of it, but again, it's because it's like I don't want to use it on my phone. I don't want to use it on my iPad. I don't want to use it even on my computer. That's weird. Like, but I feel like in front of a couch where I'm already using streaming services for movies and TV shows, I feel like it'd be a lot more natural to, I'm also going to use it for my games. But again, I don't know.
You can get that Backbone thing. I heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. Just playing things on my phone. Playing games on my phone has always been weird. I've never liked playing mobile games, or like any type of game on my phone. It just doesn't feel right to me. Like the screens are too small. Maybe I just need to get a bigger phone. I may need to upgrade to my. I have the 11 Pro. Maybe I need to get the Pro Max. I need to get the Max. Cool. All right. This last news story comes from IGN, written by Emilia Zollner. They write, the top 10 most played games this year are mostly old favorites. Despite a fulfilling start to the year for the games industry, none of the top played games during 2022's Q1 were released this year. Today's MPD's executive director and video game industry advisor Matt Piscatella shared stats from the MPD Group's Player Pulse. The list, which chronologically ranks the top 10 most played games during 2022's quarter one, sees games as old as 2009's Minecraft and 2013's Grand Theft Auto 5 still standing as player favorites. Here's his tweet. It reads, here are the top 10 most played games in Q1 2022. In the U.S., that's another distinction, U.S., ranked by year of initial release. Half of the top 10 weren't launched this decade. Elden Ring ranked 20th. Ahead of it were games like Rocket League, World of Warcraft, and Skyrim. So Elden Ring, like a huge hit this came out this year, was number 20 on the list. It's not even in the top 10 list that he shares here. So the list is Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, Sims 4, Fortnite, Among Us, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Call of Duty Warzone, Madden NFL 2022, which, I mean, that comes out in 2021, so from last year, Call of Duty Vanguard from last year, NBA 2K22 last year. So the article kind of goes on a little bit more, but the gist is this: people like old games. And I wonder, is that because of a lack of quality in games? Because I feel like it's not that, but I feel like I need to throw it out there still. Because I mean, look, we've had Elden Ring, we've had Horizon Forbidden West, we had Tunic, we've had like some great both AAA and down to indie games come out. So is it something with the amount or the quality of the games, or is it just a weird thing where people are burnt out by new games? Like, is that a thing? Because I feel like I've talked to a lot of my friends. I mean, I know I've talked with you, Adrian. I was talking with Zetch the other day. He was texting me. I've talked with a lot of people recently, and they're all playing older games.
Older games. You know what it comes down to is familiarity. It's being familiar with something and it being comfortable. And so a game like Minecraft is still ridiculously popular right now because it's easy, it's simple, and it's fun. And so that's for all ages. There's grown people and children, young and old, that love to play that game because it's easy and it's familiar and it's fun. And some of the same things can be said for games like Fortnite, that, you know, people have grown accustomed to it. It gets changed up just enough that it stays relevant and fun for the base of people that play that game. I don't personally like that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of Fortnite, but I'm not a big fan of Minecraft. But I also recognize that I love turning on Red Dead Redemption 2 and getting into a game like that, you know, for a while, more so than playing something new and fresh, because it's comfortable and familiar, and I enjoy the world that I become immersed in. So I'd say familiarity.
I definitely would piggyback off of that, and say that familiarity is a real big aspect of it. Also, I don't know if the people you were talking to were saying this too, but like in the past, I guess maybe year and a half, couple years, just with everything going on, I just kind of been mentally burned out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And asking me to continually do these new experiences all the time is really taxing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
yeah, no, totally.
Just having to add a new thing to your repertoire is just kind of like, oh man, you know. For example, I have, like we were just saying, I have this really, you know, new shiny Xbox Series X I bought, and right now it's in the box. Honestly, it's in the box in my closet, and my Super Nintendo is hooked up right now, just because I know those worlds. I know, you know, what to expect with that. It's not really a whole lot of thing. It's comfort food, I guess. And I guess in that sense, I'm speaking for me. It's just like, you know, I'm just been really tired lately, and I just like to go back and you know, get something of what is guaranteed for me to be good. You know, me spending a lot of resources and a lot of mental resources and stuff like that on something that could potentially, that's new, but could potentially be bad, which we've seen, you know, while you were listing off a lot of the good stuff that's come out, a lot of stuff has also come out that is new and is not good. So I would hate to waste resources on things that I don't necessarily know are going to be good right now. But that's just where I'm at. I don't know if anybody else you talk to kind of shares that sentiment, but yeah.
I mean, I've kind of felt that way. I think, like, even though I've tried a lot of the newer games, like I've bit the bullet and either pre-ordered it or played it, ultimately, like, I almost tell myself every day, like, oh man, like I really just want to finish Horizon Zero Dawn. Because like I started it back in January, like right before Elden Ring came out. I started because I'd never beat it previously, and it's like, oh man, like I just want to beat that game. And that's not even a nostalgia familiarity thing. It's just like, it's just I don't know, like it's just a longing to want to beat that and catch up on the story. But maybe it is just like a back to basics kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, or even like. Wanting to play through some Super Nintendo games with my son lately, like on the Super Nintendo Classic stuff on Switch. So yeah, I very much am in the same boat. And now that you mentioned, Adrian, like, again, I don't know if it's this way for everyone, but I wonder if that's a piece of it where the last couple of years have burned a lot of people out in like 2022. Like, okay.
No different.
It's still popping off in a bad way, and so people are just like starting to check out maybe, and so it's just a lot.
I think that's it. I think, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way at all, but I think going back and playing older games is an equivalent of like being able to just stare into space for a while, just to not have to worry about anything new or anything else taxing coming in.
Yeah.
You know how like sometimes when you're just really,
like
really tired. Yeah. When you're really tired, you just sit there for a second and just really not think about anything, not do anything, just kind of sit there.
Yeah.
You know? And I think maybe that's the gaming equivalent of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just pick up something you're familiar with. You don't got to think. You just start playing and just turn your mind off. Like you're not thinking about even playing. You're not thinking about anything. You're just like zoning out for an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 20 minutes in JJ's case.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, I don't know. Whatever the reason is, it is interesting that people are just. I mean, granted, all these games are.
They're good games for sure.
They're good games. So it's like I understand why there's still legs on them. You know, 12 years later, like in the case of Minecraft, 13 years later, like it makes sense. But yeah, it's just interesting.
And the new stuff is really good. Like I like I was saying, I started Tunic and I started. I got a good deal into Elden Ring, and then I just after a while, it's just like, you know, just it'll be there. I'll come back to it. Just kind of let me sit and stare at the wall for a little while. The equivalent of staring at the wall for a little bit.
Totally. Cool. Well, that's it for news stories this week.
That was sad. That sucks. I'm sorry, the whole world that we are in this state.
What do you mean? Expound.
California?
No, just like everybody would, having to deal with the past 2 years.
Oh,
yeah.
No, it's been.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it sucks that we all feel like that, but
the world's been through the ringer the last couple of years. But you know what? At least we have the games there though to like escape once in a while.
Get you through it, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I was reading on Reddit the other day on the Death Stranding Reddit, but someone was just like, Death Stranding saved my life. Like, they were like in a dark spot, feeling suicidal, and like just because like the disconnect in the last couple of years just with COVID and all this stuff and travel shutdowns and everything, and this person's like, hey, like this game it's literally all about like being disconnected and reconnecting, and it like inspired them to reach out to people, and it's like, man, like that's crazy. So it's like
rad.
It's so awesome that we have games that like at all that can do that for people. That's crazy. So
art,
yeah, it's crazy stuff. Games.
No, I totally get that.
Cool. Video games are cool. All right. that's it for the nerdy nudes. And now it is time for the ad.
Good, I gotta pee.
This is the part of the show where I tell you to go support us at patreon.com/supergamerboys. That's right. If you want to be awesome, just like our Patreon producer, Kid Jr., Bleep Bloop. Hey, for now, we have Eddie Martin. I don't know. We'll see how much longer that lasts. If he needs to pay his tax, he needs to pay his SNES tax. But if you want to be awesome, just like all the folks, you go down the show description, actually. There's a whole list of people, even people that we don't name on the show. At the $5 and above level, all your names are in the show description. Sorry, $1 level, you don't get your names in there, but it'd be too crazy. Yeah, if you want to be awesome and help us make cool content, help us get new equipment, help us buy games, help us just, keep the lights on, whatever we're doing, support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys. And you get perks such as episodes early and ad-free. You get the show notes, so you could, depending on all the different tiers have different levels. Show notes help you, you can see what we're going to be talking about. You can be preparing some cool questions to write in on our mailbag segment to maybe correspond with those news stories. Or you can put your own questions, comments, and concerns. Like you could have shared your thoughts on Microsoft's new cloud gaming dongle or whatever it might be. So yeah, think about that. Supporting us at $5 a level and you could get the show notes. Then we have our sponsor tier. You get shout outs in the show. And the premier $15 producer tier, you could be our Patreon producer where you can even pitch a segment. If you want to add a segment to the show, you think there'd be something to be just spice it up a little bit, pitch it to us. Send us a message. Let us know. And if we like it, we'll give it a shot. We'll try it out and see how it goes. And we've had some good ones. We had Super Indie Boys for a long time, which I realized recently, like it's been a while since we had a Super Indie Boys. Like maybe we need to get one, get another one next week. It's been a while. If you want to pitch some cool segments for the show, support us over there at patreon.com/supergamerboys. And if you happen to be watching on Twitch, you probably have Amazon. If you have Amazon, you probably have Amazon Prime. And if you have Amazon Prime, you definitely have Prime Gaming. So go over to twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys, subscribe to our channel there. It's cost you $0 if you use that Prime Gaming sub each and every month. We get $5 and it helps us out tremendously. And you get some emotes with our faces on it that you can use all across Twitch and just spread our faces across the world. My favorite to use is Adrian's hype face. I use it all the time. So yeah, support us over there. We'd appreciate it. Now, let's get back to the show. Alrighty, guys. JJ, what you playing?
So I've continued my journey with Death's Door. And I gotta tell you guys, if you haven't played it, Garrett, I don't think you have. I know that Adrian has. It's a lot of fun, man. It's on Game Pass. If you get a chance, you gotta check this game out. It's so colorful and cool. But the other thing that I've been playing this week that I'm kind of excited to talk about is Super Mario World. You guys were talking about, you guys were talking about doing your little thingy thing in the book club. And guys, I was feeling a little left out. I was feeling a little disconnected, as it were, and I felt like I needed to get connected. So I played a little bit this week, and man, it's still freaking fun. This game is just, what is it, almost 30 years old?
Over.
And it's just, is it over 30 years old?
It just crossed 30 last year.
And it's still just unbelievably great. And it goes back to what we were talking about a little while ago with that comfort food thing, with that familiarity thing, and just fun. It's like you don't have to stress out over it. There's nothing that's too stressful. I mean, there's moments. Let me back up.
Oh, buddy, who you kidding?
Yeah. There are moments where I'm like, oh, dude, I really do suck at video games. But it's a lot of fun, and I love what they came up with that game, and I love that with this one, it's a game that like I can play with my kids around, and they can play with me, and they can watch without it being something I have to turn them away from. Which is the case with a lot of games now, where I'm like, hey, you guys can't watch me play this game.
This one ain't for you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the games that I play. I do. I like
which
bloody stuff.
they're good.
Like,
it's just they're not for them.
Right. But when you have little kids, sometimes you gotta pick and choose what you're playing, and so.
We know how much you love playing like Conker's Bad Fur Day and Leisure Suit Larry. Like those are just some of your favorite games. So yeah, I understand it.
Yeah. So that's it for me this week, and hopefully I'll be able to tell you next week that I beat both of those games, but I doubt it.
Adrian, what have you been playing?
So this week. I had been playing of course I've been playing Crisis Core because we're doing that for a book club. But two new Playdate games dropped this week. One of which I think I'll talk about now is called Executive Golf. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, or if you saw it in the lineup, but it's how do I put it? Let me read you the description. It might be a little bit easier. It's a golf game that takes place in like multiple locations, right? But there's a how should I say? There's a twist to it, in a sense. I don't know. Hold on. Let me find the description because they could say it better than I can.
Okay. Man, I'm so bummed that I'm in group 3. I want my dang play date so badly.
It'll be here before you know it, dude.
It's like, it just says 2022. It doesn't even say late 2022. So what happens if it gets delayed to 2023? What if I have to wait a whole year for this?
Don't speak those things.
Oh, Adrian.
Yeah, you'll make that happen if you say that out loud.
Okay, so here's the best description of it. It's like a side scroller, but you play it as a golf ball and your swings are how you get around the level, which is like different stories of an office building.
Okay.
So it's players smack a golf ball around a multi-story office environment, and they must aim through floorboards and between desks, chairs, and cabinets to get the ball from one elevator to the next. It's actually a lot harder than it seems.
That actually sounds really fun. Like I guess what I don't know how it actually plays out, but what I'm imagining is just like, all these goofy and funny like obstacles in the way,
gags and whatnot.
Yeah, random little like goofy things happening in the office, and you're like, so you just see it in the peripheral, or you're like flying through this thing. Like, yeah, that sounds really fun. So is it? Are you swinging the club with the crank? Is that where the crank comes in, or okay? So
you gotta get just enough pressure and just enough torque on it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty sick.
See, I could get behind that. That's like seems like the perfect controller for a golf game. Like I like the crank. Like it's just like get the momentum.
I'm still waiting for somebody to come out with the #1 fishing game, man. Once that happens.
Super game. Should we add a fishing mini game to our game?
Should fishing be our main gameplay mechanic?
You're at the Omaha Zoo and you go past the aquarium. There's like the area where they have some fish and stuff, and you gotta like catch some stuff. No. It's like Metal Gear Solid 3 where you gotta like catch your food to survive. Right.
And then you upgrade your line eventually throughout the game to where it's like diamond tough. And then you can wrap it around the horn of the rhinos in there.
And then you put it and ride them.
And you put it in JJ's pocket as like the finishing move because he's the final boss of that game. And the rhino just takes off running and drags JJ with him, and that's how you beat it.
Man, that sounds like fun. I'd do it.
I love this. So good. Man, the only thing I've been playing is Crisis Core. That's it.
Not a bad way to spend your week.
It's been fun. It's interesting. I haven't played a ton of Final Fantasy games. Like Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy game I've ever completed. Like the remake, sorry, the Final Fantasy VII remake.
So this Crisis Core does not play like regular Final Fantasy games. I just want you to,
which is interesting. It's like, okay, this is already very different from even 7 remake. But yeah, I didn't know what to expect. So jumping into it, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I'm curious how much of this, again, not really played too many other Final Fantasy games, how much of this, like some of the things that I'm coming up against, like even control wise and gameplay wise, is this a Final Fantasy thing or is this like limited because it's a PSP thing, like limited controls and stuff? So yeah, it
might be a mixture.
I'm sure it is a little bit there, but yeah, it'll be interesting to discuss on book club later this month because I am enjoying it, but yeah, there's just like little things here and there. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. That's interesting. Oh, okay.
Hey, you had one analog stick, man. You had to make it do what it do. Okay,
that is true. You can only do so much with one analog stick,
right?
I do appreciate you can turn the camera with the triggers though. That is nice. Like, cause that's old Monster Hunter reflexes, baby. That's how you had to turn it on the. I like that. Because at least compared to like Portable Ops, where that's like Portable Ops had too many controls in the game, so like every button did like 3 things. Where it's nice. It's actually really nice going to Crisis Core now, where it's just like, oh, there's only like 3 buttons you use. Like,
yep, and you just keep tapping it to put it behind you.
Yeah, the analog stick to move. X, you just mash X to use your sword over and over again, and then like the left and right triggers to like turn your camera depending on which direction you want to go. It's like, this is great. I love how simple this is. There are other controls, but I've rarely used the dodge. I just hack and slash everyone. But yeah, and while my family was here, we played a lot of Switch bowling, and let me tell you, that game is so much fun. I love Switch sports. Go pick up Switch Sports if you have people over or even just family who's around and you're doing like fun game nights. That's a must buy. Like I talked about it before and I mean it. Like, you have to get it. It's so fantastic.
Is it still a pretender to the throne though? Does it really feel as good as Wii bowling?
No.
Tell the truth.
It's not. Even though Nintendo will argue up and down that the gyroscopes and the Switch controllers,
motion controls and all that
are like, it's supposed to be better. I think the IR sensor in the Wii was much more accurate, for sure. The gyroscopes and the IR sensor that were in the Wii controllers, at least for a bowling game, and. Yeah, I think it felt better on Wii as far as accuracy goes, but it doesn't feel bad on Switch, if that makes sense. Like, it still feels good, but
it's passable, but it ain't the same.
The problem that I run into is like, I naturally just have a curve in my like my wrist at the tail end of my throw, just like I would in real life. In real bowling, my wrist would curve, and so on the Switch or on the Wii, let's say, it was very consistent. I could get the same shot over and over again. Nice little, like, go straight down and boom, curve right in the pocket. With the Switch, I can do the same shot every time, and sometimes it curves where it's supposed to. Sometimes it just goes dead straight. And other times it's like, boom, like it goes from the right side of the alley all the way to the left and like almost to the gutter. I'm like, I didn't curve my wrist that much. Like, how did it go from like 0 to like 500?
Maybe it's like too so precise.
Fast? Right. Yeah, it's like too touchy. So that's the only thing I've run into. But my mom and Trudy's incredible at the game, but I can't say she cheats. It's definitely not cheating.
So what I heard you say was that Trudy's a cheater.
No, I said she's not. I can't call it cheating. I explicitly am saying this on air because I know sometimes.
That's right. Backpedal. Yes, come on,
but
faster.
when you said call,
sometimes she listens.
Said call it cheating.
Sometimes she listens to the Twitch, or she'll watch the Twitch stream. So I'm not saying she's cheating, but
it's the doghouse for you, my friend.
She bowls with a dead straight, just like she doesn't move her wrist or anything. Like she just goes like zoop, and like literally shoots it right down the middle of the alley and strike it every single time. Like eight out of the 10 frames, 8 out of the 10 frames just strikes all across. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
You gotta take her to Vegas and go make money, Garrett. That's it right now.
Yeah. And so in my head, obviously, I'm like, oh, but that's not how you're supposed to bowl. You're cheating. But it's like
not how you're supposed to. That's literally the definition of what bowling is. What she's doing
is. Yeah.
No, well, no.
You take the ball, you throw it down. Yeah. What do you mean?
I think I've told this on the air before. I was on the varsity bowling team. That's not how you bowl. That is not proper form for bowling. So,
but does it get results?
Yeah, and that's why I said it's technically not cheating. Like, it's not like she's breaking the game to do this thing. Like, and it's getting results, but it's just infuriating.
Man, this sounds like a lot of salt. This sounds like a lot of hating right now.
No, that's what I'm about to say. Like, it's just infuriating to me. Like, I get salty because it's like, that's not how it's supposed to work. That's not how it works. It's not even in real life. It doesn't work that way. Like, why is it doing that? And then I have to remember.
Welcome to Switch Sports.
Yeah. Then I have to remember it's a video game. Like, that's how Wii Sports was. That's how Switch Sports is. It's like it's a video game. But
ladies and gentlemen, look forward to next week as the apology from Garrett Morling, the public apology, because he's gonna have to admit that he slept on the couch for a full solid week based on the comments.
Yeah, you might have put your foot in your mouth, bud.
About his lovely wife Trudy and her amazing bowling game. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I mean. She wins every time, so I mean, there's that. All right, that's all I got. Thank you all so much for listening to this show. We appreciate each and every one of you, and just for clicking on this YouTube video, for downloading this podcast episode, for just tuning in for a few minutes on Twitch. We appreciate you all, and are so thankful for everyone who just takes the time out of their day to enjoy our content. Or at least ingest our content. I hope you enjoy it. If you really, truly enjoy it and you want it to continue to get better, or you want to allow us new opportunities for the show, you want to fund our Super Later Boys podcast that we've been trying to get off the ground for, I don't know, the last year at least.
Almost there, baby.
We did get a 1 or 2 more supporters over the weekend. So, patreon.com/supergamerboys. Go over there, support us. Starting at just $1 a month. You can get episodes early and ad-free, like I mentioned previously, as well as a slew of other perks. So go check that out. Be cool, support us, and help us make cool things. You can also help us by going to sgbstore.com. You can buy some merch over there. We got t-shirts, we got stickers, we got sweatshirts, whatever you need for your life to be cozy. We got some socks. You got the whole gig. We just don't have sweatpants. We gotta get some sweatpants. You can get the sweatshirt, sweatpants, socks, and you'd be set. Yeah.
It'd also be you giving up on life if you just start wearing sweatpants, Garrett.
Well, it depends on the context. What if he's around the house or cleaning up or, going to bed, something.
I'll let you all in a little behind the scenes, a little secret here. That's what I wear. That's what I wear 90% of the week because I work from home. I literally wake up, throw the sweats on, walk down to my office. At the end of the day, walk back up, go to bed, wake up the next morning, put them back on.
Same pants.
Same pants.
I'm not even mad. I'm honestly jealous.
That's the work from home life, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty fantastic. Where was I? sgbstore.com. Buy some merch. It's good. Rate and review us wherever you can on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up on this video. Leave a comment. All that helps the algorithm find our stuff so more people can watch. Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on the show. And remember, go give them support as well. Go listen to them on Spotify. Links are in the show description below. Also on Apple Music. And if you can find them on Bandcamp or iTunes, wherever they... Just do whatever you can to support them. They make killer stuff, and they deserve all the love.
Give them your money.
Give them their money. SuperGamerBoys.com is where you can find us during the week. Also at Twitter and Instagram at SuperGamerBoys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at GMorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
And JJ, where can they find you?
You can always find me on Twitter and Instagram at JJ Purdom. And of course, you can always find me at the Super Gamer Boys produced the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast, dropping each and every Friday. Look forward to Scott Falder and myself dropping a new episode this Friday as we talk wrestling. And it should be a fun trip, as it always is.
Heck yeah. All right. That's all I got. JJ, take it away.
So a very sincere and heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you guys for listening each and every week and for sending in your questions and your comments and reaching out to each one of us on social media sites. We appreciate it. Help by spreading the word, telling everybody about the Super Gamer Boys. For Garrett Morlang, for Adrian Homeboy Holmes, and for myself, JJ Purdom, and of course for Beldar, that alien dude. Man, I really want to know what's in the files, Garrett. I really want to know what's in the files. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
I don't know what you're talking about. We will catch you on the flippity flop. Yeah, Adrian.
How do you not know? It's like a terabyte of Kojima deepfakes. Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Deepfakes, is that what they call them now?
Yeah.